So we'll come back to our Shakespeare class on Hamlet, the last scene. We've just been talking about the different circumstances that made Hamlet instantly take action and stab and kill the king by forcing him to drink the poison. So we said here that Hamlet now has evidence. He has concrete evidence. He has witnesses. There's people who now see firsthand that the king is a murderer. But despite this, still Hamlet ordered the door to be locked because killing a king was still a huge thing to do. And this is the last words that Hamlet says to the king: "Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink of this poison. Is thy union here? Follow my mother." I'm really not happy with follow my mother. Like, okay, maybe she's going to heaven and he's going to hell, but that's not something important. But I don't know. Now, Hamlet, on many occasions, talks to us. Now he is injured, we know. He has only half an hour, less than 30 minutes, as said by Laertes. Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. He forgives Laertes, who asks for forgiveness here. I am dead, Horatio. I love how Hamlet keeps saying Horatio, 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 Horatio. Some people make fun of this all the time, by the way. Wretched queen, adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance. Who's he talking to? Do you know? Can you guess? Line 3 here. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mute or audience to this act, had
the king?
The king?
Horatio.
No.
The king?
No. Can you guess?
Laertes?
No. Death?
To himself?
No.
To death?
No.
To himself?
No. Possible. I'm not saying no, wrong. Possible. He's talking to us.
To us? To us, yeah.
To the audience, to posterity, to people in the future. You, and I love this about Shakespeare, he does this in his plays all the time. He engages us. He makes us part of his plays. But he does this a lot in Hamlet. He uses so many dramatic devices. He uses so many literary devices to make us part of this. Parody, allusions, references, direct talks to the audience, mentions of the audience, soliloquies, asides, all these make us part of this. So you that look pale, look at this. We're watching a play where the king is dead, the queen is dead, Laertes is dead, and Hamlet, the character we love most, we identify with, is dying. So we look pale, we're frightened, we're shocked, we're shaking. You that look pale. So Hamlet, even when he's dying, he cares about us, he loves us, he reaches out to us, he extends a hand. That are but mute, or audience. He mentions the word audience is mentioned here more often than anywhere else. To this act had I but time, as this fell surgeon, death is strict in his arrest. Oh, I could tell you, but let it be. Horatio, I am dead, thou livest. Report me and my cause aright. Please tell my story. Report me and report me aright to the unsatisfied. I am not sure what you think of the ending. I'll ask you in a bit. Are you happy with the end? Let me do it now. Sorry. Are you happy with the ending of Hamlet? Who's happy? Are you happy? Are you sad? Do you think this could be ended in a different way? So please type if yes or no. Let's vote on this. So 2 people say no so far. Khalid is saying what the hell. Definitely not happy. Ahmed Al-Khatib. Safa says no. Any yes? Any yes? All nay? Any A? No, 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 no. Not. It's satisfying. Bashar is happy. Okay, nice. We'll talk about this. We'll see why you're doing this. Reham is saying yes. So we have more yeses now, but still the no's are dominating. Malak is happy about the ending. Interesting. But it's also interesting how when one said yes, 3 more said yes. Khalid is both happy and unhappy. Asia says, there are more. What about the other girls, the other boys? No, but it is realistic. Everybody took what he deserves. Tasneem, does Hamlet deserve to die? Okay, I am not happy. There is hope. We'll talk about hope. So far, there's no hope, Malak. Everybody is dead. And even Horatio wants to kill himself, wants to commit suicide. Horatio is not. We'll see. We're not done yet. Next episode, stay tuned. Now look at this. If you are unsatisfied, it's okay. It's up to you to be happy or not. But if you are unsatisfied, Hamlet knew this. I am not happy with the ending. I hate the ending. I think it's nice. It's done this way. But I'm really, really angry with this ending. I didn't want Hamlet to die. I honestly, every time I read Hamlet, I watch Hamlet or I teach Hamlet, I go to the ending hoping against hope that he's not going to be killed, that he's going to be spared, that Laertes is going to change his mind. But this is probably me. And Hamlet predicted this. He's talking to us. He says, report my cause aright, justly and fairly, accurately, perfectly, to the unsatisfied, to us who are unhappy with this particular ending. Fascinating what Shakespeare is doing here, how he engages us. Now, Horatio reports this. He says, and let me speak to the yet unknowing world. Who's the unknowing world? What's the unknowing world? Again, the readers, the audience, posterity, the future, people living 400 years later, 300 years later, 500 years later, maybe 1,000 years later. He wants to speak to them. And he is speaking to us. How these things came about, so shall you hear, of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in this upshot purposes mistook, fallen on the inventors' heads. All this can I truly deliver. Now look at this. Very important point to me. Do you trust Horatio? Has he always been truthful? Is he credible? He's telling us here right now, he's summarizing the whole play. But many times he wasn't there, he wasn't on the stage. How does he know? Can he tell the story truly, aright, like Hamlet said, accurately, perfectly? What do you think? Do you trust Hamlet? Do you trust Laertes to tell a true story, an accurate story to Hamlet? Mm-hmm. Somebody? طيب. Anyway, if you don't get to me, I'll ask you this question on the Facebook group, so you can write about this. Ahmed Khatib thinks he might be biased. He will tell it in a nutshell, just to be brief. Bashir says not 100%. But remember, we have a previous experience with Laertes, when he wasn't accurate. He was always, thank you for saying bias, because he was always, okay, Hamlet, okay. He was always saying okay to Hamlet, not questioning him, not pushing him hard as a friend. But remember how he framed Fortinbras? We'll come back to this. Malak says, I don't trust anybody, even Horatio. Ahmed Nihad is saying, you could tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and still lie. Okay, stop stealing these quotes, Ahmed, without referencing them. So there were several references made to the audience here, to the audiences, to posterity, writing for posterity, for us now in Gaza, in Palestine, the whole world. Shakespeare uses many dramatic and literary devices to engage us. This intensifies in the last scene. The word audience was mentioned several times here. As he dies, Hamlet tells Horatio to report my cause aright to the unsatisfied. Horatio describes us as the yet unknowing unknowing world. And I love this quote from your book, and I want somebody to read it very quickly. Can you? How we grow as audience with Hamlet. Somebody please read.
Yeah, Hamlet's
Anna.
heroism.
Yeah.
Hamlet's heroism is not truly appreciated until the end of the play. The audience comes to a realization to the truth to the true nature of Hamlet's dilemma, along with the development of the character himself. By writing the tragedy this way, Shakespeare allows the audience to build its understanding of the play as slowly as Hamlet evolves in his understanding of his course of action. We grow along with Hamlet. We begin to feel what he is feeling. This parallel allows the audience to have an intimacy with the hero that is rarely achieved in the theater. Ultimately, the audience recognizes the value of the life that has been lost.
The value of Hamlet's life, whatever life that is lost. This is from your book. You can go back to see how interesting this is. So are we Horatio here? Because he's the last man standing. And he's given, remember, he wanted to drink the poison, he wanted to die. And Hamlet said, no, please don't do it. And he said, I want to be more of a Roman than a Dane. The Romans were famous for killing themselves when they are in trouble like this. He wanted to commit suicide. But Hamlet gave him the responsibility to report fairly, accurately, and to tell the story to the world. Hamlet prevents him, orders him not. And again, some people say maybe Hamlet is selfish. Live to tell my story. Live to tell my story rather than live because you shouldn't die. No more lives should be lost. Horatio declares he will truly deliver all this. I want you to think about this. The question is, can Horatio be trusted? Why and why not? And this telling the story from Hamlet is a really modernist concept. No matter what happens, Hamlet knows that people will talk. We've seen the gravedigger talk about people, about Ophelia's death. And he wants this to happen. He wants, can you mute, please, ladies, gents? Someone is on.
حرثاني ميوت يا حرثاني.
الحرثاني مش مشكلة عادي. Anyone else? طيب. So Hamlet here, as thou art a man, give me the cup. Let go. Dashir, fallit. Let the cup go. By heaven, I'll have it. He throws it away. Oh God, Horatio. What a wounded name. He's still like Laertes, he cares about his name. Things standing thus unknown. Many people don't know about me, about what happened to me, what I did, why I did what I did, why I killed the king, why all this, why England, why Polonius shall live behind me. You have to live, you shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in the, if you love me, don't kill yourself. You live. Absent thee from felicity a while. Felicity, happiness. Okay, you could be sad for a while, you could mourn me. And in this harsh world, in this distracted globe, in the world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. Fascinating, very modernist thing from Shakespeare to do. People do this now in the 21st century, where the story is more important than the character, than the play, than the text, than the book, than the novel, than the poem. The story itself that has to be told and retold. But if we question, if some of you could question Horatio, we need to question the whole concept of storytelling. Is there ever a credible story? Is there ever a story that is 100% credible and believable? You're already studying this with Dr. Akram in criticism, so probably you can link this and this course with that one. And Hamlet's final words here, I'm quoting them. Oh, I die, Horatio. A potent poison, quiet or crows my spirit. I can't live to hear the news from England, you know, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. But I do prophesy the election light on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. I vote for Fortinbras, young Fortinbras, to be the king who comes unannounced. So tell him with the occurrence more and less, which have solicited, the rest is silence. And Hamlet dies. Most interesting, the most beautiful, the most fascinating fictional human being ever. He's dead, he's gone. And I find this very beautiful, the way, very poetic. He dies a poet, he dies a fighter, he dies standing, metaphorically. The rest is silence. And here, I love what Shakespeare is doing. When he says the rest is euphemism for death or the rest of the story. Or we only find rest when we rest, when we are silent. And when he says silence, he's silent. Nowhere else you'll find something like this. No one writes like Shakespeare does. It's not his stories that we love. Yes, we identify with the characters. Yes, we love the characters. We live in the shadows of the characters. The language, the wording, how he begins, how he ends, how he words things. Yes, Abdurrahman, you're not the only one you're not the only one who's sad. I am sad. I'm really sad. This is disheartening. This is heartbreaking. The rest is silence. And again, I find this interesting how he began his whole play with the playing on words and puns, and he goes back to his original. He's being poetic, being witty, being alive. A little more than kin and less than kind. And here he's also playing on words. The rest, death is silence. Silence is death. This is the scene I want you to watch from Mel Gibson's production of Hamlet. Let's see this. And please don't shed tears, Abdurrahman. I know you are alone at home, so don't shed tears.
Begins to play. The point in venom, too. Then venom to thy work! Defend me, friends. Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane. Drink off this potion. Is thy union here? Follow my mother. I am dead, Horatio. Wretched queen. Adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, had I but time, as this fell Sergeant Death is strict in his arrest. Oh, I could tell you, but let it be. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest, report me and my cause aright. Oh, God, Horatio, what a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, have sent thee from felicity a while, and then in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. Oh, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite o'ergrows my spirit. The rest is silent.
Allah yarhamak ya Hamlet. Okay. The rest is silence. Okay, after the silence, so Fortinbras, to end this play, Fortinbras shows unannounced. Hamlet gives him his voice, elects him King of Denmark. He behaves like a gentleman. He gives Hamlet a military parade, bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage. But Hamlet is not a soldier, and this is something interesting. Now the question here,